Andre.
All right, so check this out. This is Roundtable, episode number 10 of the Release the Snyder Cut account, the Twitter account, the Big Dog account. We got everybody on here. I'm going to be the host today. We got, well, what I want y'all to do is just, give a quick introduction of who you are, where you're from, what got you in the movement, and what got you attracted to the account. Let's start with Gavin first.
My name is Gavin. I am from Los Angeles, but I recently moved to Nashville a few years back. And I have been in the movement since day one. And it's the best thing I've ever done in my entire life, honestly.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Werner, what about you, bro?
Well, I'm from Germany. I'm 31 years old and been with the movement since day one, you gotta say, but only got active like end of 2019 because I didn't use Twitter that much those years before. But after the entire cast started tweeting about it, I gotta get on it. I had to join.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what's up. Before we get to Andre, Gavin, I just saw a Subway Cup, and since Subway helped us out again, let's see that Subway Cup one more time. So maybe we get them to tweet it out. Oh. Hell yeah, hell yeah. So we're going to finish it off, last but not least, with the guy who looks exactly like he should play Green Lantern for some reason, Andre Hutchins.
Dude, I appreciate that, man. That's a great compliment.
Yeah, dog, you do. You look like a movie star, man. So we let you
that's funny, man. Hey, Zach, if you're listening to this, I'm available.
Me too.
My name is Andre Hutchins. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I run a movie blog and movie podcast called Backseat Directors. Been doing it for just about 3.5 years. But I got involved with the Release the Snyder Cut movement. I can't say that it was day one, but it's probably been for the last year. And as you can see, I'm a big supporter. I've bought all the T-shirts. I've donated. I think what everyone has done and contributed is absolutely incredible. One of the things that really attracted me to the movement, one, its reach. It's absolutely global. Having guys from Germany is just a testament from that.
Hell yeah.
And two, just the passion behind Zack Snyder and releasing all of those quick shots of things that he had done and how different the movie really looked and felt is what really just attracted me and said, this is it. This is what it's all about.
Hell yeah. Perfect answer. Gavin, I want you to touch on that also. I want you to tell me what attracted you to the movement. I see a little bit of Marvel back there. I see Watchmen. I see Freddie Mercury. I see Joker. I see a little bit of everything. So what got you in the Release the Snyder Cut movement? What got you attracted to Zack Snyder, you know?
Well, I mean, I have always been a fan ever since Man of Steel, and I've seen just about all of his movies, like Watchmen, Sucker Punch, just everything he's done. And like the extended versions have always been a lot better. And then as soon as Justice League came out, especially just being an hour, 59-minute movie, it was obvious that it wasn't close to what he had made.
Right.
Especially since now we know it's around 3.5, 4 hours long.
Right.
I mean, I saw it and just all the scenes besides the CGI mustache and everything that was in there, it was just not what I know it could have been, because I know then after he started sharing all of those images from behind the scenes stuff and then all the screen caps, like how they just released the picture of Darkseid and then the black suit Superman he showed, all of that really kind of connected, because after all the nightmare scenes in BVS, I was really intrigued on how that was going to be touched in Justice League. But after they didn't show any of that, I knew that we needed something more, and it really just kind of pushed me forward, because I know it's not fair to him after the whole tragedy that he went through.
Hell yeah.
So I'm glad we're finally going to see his work.
Yep. Perfect answer. Now I want to hit up Werner. You tell me same question. What do you think? What got you into the movement? What got you attracted to Zack Snyder? You know, what was it?
Well, what started it for me was the Ultimate Edition of BVS, because that showed you what those special minutes can do for a Zack Snyder movie.
Right.
And with those 2 hours movie Justice League, we all know that's not all. This movie, this Snyder Cut got much more to offer, and we fans deserve to see it, and Zack Snyder deserves to show it. And that's what we all here for.
100%. 100%. Now I want to get into, we just had the little teaser trailer with Wonder Woman and Darkseid. Andre, how was your reaction? What did you feel, man?
Dude, it's hard to describe. It's really hard to describe when you actually are shown something that is actually from the movie, something that we're actually going to get to see in the movie.
Right.
And my excitement level was through the roof. Like just my emotions from the music, you can tell, this is so different, and it is going to be so much better than what we got in the theatrical cut.
Right.
No, I mean, I think Snyder, he knows how to tease the fans, and he knows how to, just really, I don't know, just cause a lot of excitement. I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome. And I only imagine that we're going to get an even bigger tease, come the DC fandom. That's where I think we're going to see a lot of good stuff.
Hell yeah. The sound alone, the music, and hearing Lex in the background talking and his voice cracking and all that shit, I was like, damn. Just the audio was better than Justice League, the theatrical cut. I was like, fuck. Yo, Gavin, what did you feel? How was your reaction, man?
Well, the whole time I saw it, I was having an emotional freak out moment. I was just like, oh my God, this is happening. And then as soon as I heard Lex's voice, which by the way, I think Jesse Eisenberg is the perfect Lex Luthor.
Right.
I don't think they could have casted him any better.
I agree.
Just his voice. And then you see the camera zoom in onto the painting of Darkseid. And then they cut and they finally show him in video. That was just insane to me. Right. That was just crazy.
Hell yeah. What about you, Werner?
One word, goosebumps. That says it all, to be honest. Everything from the pictures, the sound. What do you want more from a teaser that's about, 32 seconds?
Right.
It doesn't get better than this.
Right, exactly. I 100% agree. Now, they were saying something about it's being shot at a taller aspect ratio or something. Like, I don't know the details or anything like that, but any one of y'all can compound on that?
No, so I mean, I think it's going to be similar to what Snyder implemented within BVS, and that he has certain shots and frames and scenes that are shot in IMAX, but not every scene is shot that way. So my assumption is that he probably did the same thing with Justice League. So I'm not entirely sure, though. I'm not entirely sure.
No, I think I read the same thing. I think you're right about it.
Is that because Darkseid is going to be so tall, or what? or we're going to look at buildings blowing up, or what? Because I think they did some in BVS in the scene, the beginning scene with all the buildings falling down and stuff like that. But I remember Christopher Nolan used it when Joker tripped over the truck or something like that, and it made it stand straight up, So I can only wonder, what does Zack Snyder have planned? Who knows? But it's probably going to be the shit,
I'm curious what you guys think, though, because this is something I've been thinking and talking with some of my friends about, is that we essentially, we pretty much know everything that's going to happen in his version of Justice League, because he's basically revealed all the differences, and even up to the ending, spoiler alert, how Steppenwolf is killed. He doesn't just, get zapped away in the boom tube. Like, he's literally killed by Wonder Woman. So we know all these things are going to happen. And yet, in spite of knowing, I could not be more excited. Like, I don't care that he spoiled all of this stuff. Like, I cannot wait to see it still. That's the crazy part. It's like, we already know, but it's still so exciting to think about.
I agree.
We know what's gonna come, but we don't know how. And sometimes the way is how do you say it in English? The way is the goal.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's the journey on how we get there, which is
right.
so fun. It's gonna be so fun.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What do y'all think we're gonna see? So we know we're gonna see Steppenwolf get beheaded, right? We know, now tell me this, are they gonna switch back to the BVS version Steppenwolf? Anybody hearing anything on that?
I don't think
saw
so.
something on Vero. Someone commented saying, "Are you going to make the design from BVS come into your fruition of Justice League?" And then he put a few emojis supporting it. So I think it's a pretty high chance of it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you got to think that that's what he wants to do.
I think he wants to do it, but honestly, I think that would be too much work for them, since the Steppenwolf we got to see is finished. What I think, they're gonna do this and that, optimize it a little bit, but not gonna change it that much.
What's interesting, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but when the initial report after the announcement of Zack Snyder's Justice League to HBO Max, the report said $20 to $30 million was going to be allocated to Zack to finish the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I forget his name, the new CEO of Warner Media,
John Stanky.
So he was interviewed. He was interviewed on a podcast, and they brought up the same 20 to 30 million, and his response was, "I wish it was only going to be 30 million," implying that it sounds like they're going to give him a lot more money. So if he's getting more money, maybe Steppenwolf will be changed.
You're right.
I was celebrating the fact that he said he's getting more than just 20 or 30 millions, because everybody was talking those last 2 years, nobody's gonna give Zack Snyder any money, nobody's gonna let him do this job. Well, here we are, and let him do his job and give him not just money, but a lot of money.
Yep. Yeah.
Yo, let me ask y'all about that, because you brought up a good point, and we're all here because of central hub of like the Snyder Cut movement's Twitter page. You know what I mean? So it's like, you get the naysayers. Oh, they're never going to give him no money. Oh, he needs $40 million, or he needs this. It's not going to happen. And then it happens. And then we're sitting here like, damn, that we just waste a year thinking some dumb shit. Do you know what I mean? Did we just waste a year? What do y'all think about that? Because it's a lot of misinformation out there, Anybody can take that. Gavin,
go ahead,
Andre.
Gavin. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, since 2017, there's been a lot of rumors going around of what was going to happen between money situations and if it was even going to come out. So, I mean, in all honesty, I think whatever they can do, whatever they can give him is going to be the best for the movie. Like whatever he said, because he knows what's to come, and he knows the general idea of how much money is supposed to be spent. So I think whatever he comes up with will either way come up in a good sense, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree because that's been one of the more fascinating parts of the last, essentially 2 years, ever since that first hashtag release of Snyder Cut, was tweeted out after the theatrical release, and all the rumors start building and building. Obviously you have all the fans that have faith and believe in Zack Snyder and his vision and know what we got was not his movie. And then you have, a lot of the bloggers, a lot of the people on Twitter, a lot of the inside, and I'm doing air quotes, inside scoopers, that say, oh, I have inside sources. I think one of the more infamous responses to whether or not the Snyder Cut was ever going to happen, and I'm not calling anybody out, so I'm not going to name any names, but that tweet that it's a pipe dream, and you guys might know what I'm talking about, that it's a pipe dream, it's going to go down in history as one of the, one of the greatest, you put your foot in your mouth type tweets, about, literally stating that they actually really didn't know nothing about what was going on.
Exactly.
That people that said, oh, we have sources,
exactly.
And I think it understates the power and the collective power that this movement really has. I mean, because without the movement, there wouldn't be no Snyder Cut. There really wouldn't.
Right. No, you hit a great point, man, because it seems like, I'm gonna just plug my podcast. I do a podcast called Go Deep. And I've just been talking about so much like, damn, these dudes don't know what they're talking about. And it's like, damn, they don't know what they're talking about. It's like, damn. I'm sorry we had to go through that. But like you said, the movement really, if it wasn't for the movement, there would be no Snyder Cut. We wouldn't be watching this movie. You know what I mean? That's crazy. So it's like, oh, go ahead, Warner.
Well, that's what I was surprised about 1 month ago, because when they announced that the Snyder Cut is coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were still some guys around me that told me it had nothing to do with the movement, nothing to do with the fans. And I was sitting there and thinking, what the hell are you talking?
How?
You were crying. The Snyder Cut is not coming. The movie was a bomb. That doesn't make any sense. And now he's coming and it got nothing to do with the fans. What are you talking about? You're
Right.
telling me they are investing multiple $1 million in a movie that failed at the box office because there is no fans?
Right.
No,
Guys, that doesn't make any sense.
No,
What are you
not at all.
talking?
I mean, anybody that is connected into the information that is being shared within this movement, obviously, you don't have to go further than reading the Hollywood Reporter article that came out after the announcement that specifically said Toby Emmerich, who's been vilified by many DC fans and maybe rightfully so, Snyder fans, I should say, that the day that last November, when the hashtag Release the Snyder Cut was trending worldwide and it was getting almost 1 million tweets, I mean, it was the #1 trending hashtag in the world. That very next morning is when Toby Emmerich called Zach. I mean, that's what the article says. That has everything to do with the fans.
Exactly.
I mean,
It is.
Exactly.
I told them if the studio doesn't see any money on the table, they wouldn't do shit.
Right.
Exactly.
That's how it is. But we stood up and said, "Here, we're here. We got your money. You want it? Give us
Right.
what we want."
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. And look what they did. They implemented an AI system just to read our tweets and all this other Warner Brothers stuff. And then, like you said, not only was that day, November 17th, they did, some people say we did over 1 million tweets if they count in all the messed up spellings and shit like that. But
oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
it was a
released
lot.
The Cinder Cut or
Cinder,
something.
right? And it was like Zach, ZACH. It was like Zach Cinder, some shit like that. So every time we get a naysayer, we say, "Oh, he must like Zach. He must like Cinder." But check this out.
Funny. That's
so
funny.
The account has they said they're approaching like 28,000 subscribers on this account. Is that that's
on the Release the Snyder Cut account?
Yeah, Release the Snyder Cut account. Right.
Yeah, I think so.
And they recently got their art event. We can talk about that. They announced the winners. Zack Snyder announced the winners for the art event. And anybody want to talk about that? Let's get Gavin. He's been quiet for a little while. Jump in, talk about the art event. How you feel about it?
Well, I think it's really cool that Zach himself is letting the fans have all these opportunities, like he posted, it was a few months ago, it was before the reveal, the poster event, and then he gave the person who won, which was like a giant picture of Darkseid with everything within, he gave him the exclusive, I forget what the thing's called, the film thing where you wasn't the prize that he was actually going to get invited on set, right? For when they did additional scenes or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That movie Clapper, or what is it called?
Clapper.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I'm no filmmaker.
Me neither. I heard it. I just heard about it. But yeah, it's a Clapper, and I think he gets to go on set for not reshoots, but I think they're doing extra shooting too. So that's a question also, but we can keep talking about the art event. But I want to get into, what do y'all think about this 6-parter, or is it going to be just a longer movie? Because that's a big topic of discussion also, the 6-parter or a longer movie.
I'm
I
curious, how do you guys want it to be? Do you want it to be a movie, or do you want it to be like a mini series?
I mean,
I
in all
wanted it.
honesty, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I would love to see a mini series like Chernobyl, if you've seen that. Those were 5 parts, 50 minutes, and it was perfect. That's what I would love to see. I mean, 240 minutes. I think they're gonna add a little bit because they're gonna do more with the Snyder Cut, but that's a different story. So I would go for 4 episodes, maybe 5.
Mm, mm. Go ahead, Gavin.
I think I totally understand the whole reason of why they would do it in episodes. Plus, that way it would, because if they did it 1 episode a week, it would give more money to HBO Max because it would be another additional month of subscribing.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that would be the smarter thing for them to do. But on the other hand, I think if they did it in the full 214 minutes, I think it would just capture more of the feel of the movie itself of what we would have gotten. I think it could work really either way, depending on how long people would like to actually sit for it in one sitting.
Yeah, well, and I think that's kind of the question that HBO Max is probably considering is what is going to draw the most subscribers, whether it's a movie format or a TV show format. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Quentin Tarantino movie, The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the movie, it had got a theatrical release. You can go buy the Blu-ray and everything like that. But on Netflix, it was re-released on Netflix as a 4-part episode miniseries, though.
Yeah.
And they did that because this was his director's cut, but it was so long that they're like, I wonder how we can actually make this more watchable. And they turned it into 4 episodes,
Right.
which I thought is really interesting because I think it could work. I think it could. My personal preference is I want this to be on the IMAX in theaters. I want to go see it, in a movie format, whether it's 4 or 5 hours long. I will sit my butt down and watch it, but that's right now. I know that's wishful thinking. So I don't know. I don't know if I have a preference. I'm just excited to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think, like what they do with Stranger Things, and it's kind of like a little season, but you can kind of binge watch it. Or I think they kind of want to tease at that, or some Game of Thrones type of shit. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, well, not with Game of Thrones. The way it's different than Stranger Things is that they release it once a week. So
All right.
you're having to wait.
You're right.
Having
You're
to
right.
wait.
You're right.
I'm all in for everything that brings them the success they need, because it's not just us who deserves the movie, it's them who deserve the success. And that's something we all should wish, because if they don't get what they want, we're not gonna see more of it. So I would say let them do what they have to do to get their money and give us more of it.
I agree. I've invested in AT&T, HBO Max, so I put my money where my mouth is, bro.
Yeah, same. And I'm curious, is it in Germany? Is HBO Max available in Germany?
I was about to say it. We don't have it now. We got Sky, who got the rights for some content, but not everything. And who knows how the world will be in 1 year? Maybe we get it.
Right. I'm curious to see how that kind of unfolds, because like when Disney Plus launched, it was only like, I think it was like US, Canada, and like New Zealand, something random.
Right.
But is Disney Plus now in Germany though?
It is.
It took less than a year.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna do the same. And one way or another, I'm gonna see it. If I see it in English, I got no problem with it, because let's be honest, the original sound is always better.
Cool. What do y'all think about the Ayer cut? Do you think we're gonna get that slipped in before, or what?
That's a good question.
Some foreplay.
Do we want it? I think I want it. I don't. If it happens, I think it will happen after the Snyder Cut. I think it'll happen after. But dude, you got to think that that's going to be that's got to be a sweet cut too.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Hell
if the Snyder Cut is a success, I'm damn sure it's gonna come. If the Snyder Cut is not a success, what I don't think, it won't come. But I wish we would see it before the Snyder Cut, because Suicide Squad happens before
Right.
Justice League. So,
Right.
and it would also be the right movie to get some subscribers and then let them pay again when Justice League arrives after the 3 month.
Yeah.
Right.
Would be work for them.
Right. So let me ask y'all this. Do you think that's going to blossom into Justice League 2? Because this is now they're going digital and streaming and shit, but Justice League is like a $250 million movie, you know? So do we get a part 2 and part 3? How do we squeeze that out of streaming? How did that happen, you know?
I heard a rumor that supposedly if the Snyder Cut does well and it makes enough money, I don't know if it's true or not, but they might consider continuing his vision from where they would have left off. So if that happens, I'm all for it no matter what.
Right.
Because I think that would be really cool.
Hell yeah. Where does that leave Wonder Woman? Because Patty kind of went away from the Snyder Cut. You know, they had her Wonder Woman fighting in the open, and supposedly Wonder Woman disappeared for 100 years. So she kind of went off of it. Where does that leave Wonder Woman?
Gosh,
That is a really good question.
I know, and I think that's what a lot of fans, I think, of Snyder's DCEU are wondering the same thing, because, you know, even though Aquaman, you know, that beginning scene when Mara, you know, meets up with Arthur, you know, and they talk a little bit about Steppenwolf. That's the only correlation that movie, you know, ties back into Justice League.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. It's really interesting, because I think obviously as Snyder fans, we want to see his universe come to life. You know, we want the Flash to be directly tied into what's going on in Justice League. You know, we want a Cyborg movie. We want Ray Fisher back.
Right.
You know, and I don't know. I hope Patty, you know, honors and kind of respects what was happening before enough to that she's not going to change the story so much that it's not going to be tied into anything that came before. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Wonder Woman. It looks very different than the first one.
Right.
Hopefully it's just as good, but it does look different.
So
In a good way, I think.
Oh yeah? You
Yeah,
think
I hope so. I hope so.
Yo, I'm about to piss all of y'all off, and I'm gonna apologize. I'm gonna apologize early. I did not hit record on this show.
Oh no!
Until just now. So
everybody remember what you just said and repeat.
Right. We're good. I do apologize. Y'all can beat me up after the show. I will
I come over there from Germany and beat you up.
Oh shit. I apologize. So what we were talking about, we talked about Ryan Reynolds. He's going to be Green Lantern. We talked about that, pretty much our reaction. Are we getting the whole Snyderverse, or what are we getting? Because a lot of us would not have thought this. Ryan Reynolds, he did release the Snyder Cut throughout the summer.
He did.
You know? He did.
Yes, he did.
So
Yep.
What was he doing? Did he already shoot, or what?
Oh, you gotta think, and I can imagine the scenario right now. The moment that Ryan Reynolds found out that the Snyder Cut was going to get released, he was probably on the phone texting Snyder, "Hey, get me into your movie. Get me into your movie.
Right,
you know, whatever
right.
capacity, get me into your movie."
Right.
You know, I mean, the assumption is that they are going to film additional scenes.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
we'll see. We'll see.
That's crazy. This
It
is crazy. This is crazy. It's like breaking news. You know, we had a little break and we come back and breaking news. Now, what I do want to ask y'all, I thought of this question. If Zack Snyder introduced Darkseid, what does that do for Ava and the New Gods movie?
Was there a release date for that movie? Did they say when that movie is going to come out?
I don't know.
I don't think so. This movie almost doesn't even exist. You don't hear anything about it. And I think the success of the Snyder Cut will show how they're gonna move forward with this movie, if the movie comes at all.
Right. Right.
I agree. I agree. My impression is that Warner Brothers is they're kind of waiting just to see how the Snyder Cut goes, and then from there they'll start making decisions. Because I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was an article from Variety today that said that it's anticipated that the Snyder Cut will be released early to mid 2021.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're less than a year away, and if it's early, I mean, it's not like Warner Brothers has to wait long to start making decisions on based on the Snyder Cut. But
Right.
yeah.
So how do we do it? Do we just stream this movie over and over and over, or what's the plan? What's the plan? Because it's not like we're all going into the movie theaters, and or is the movie theaters going to be open? Do you think so? Or what's the plan? How do we do it with streaming? How do we make this movie a success? Do we just all like, hey, watch this shit over and over and over and over, and then we just hear what Forbes says or whatever?
Well, I think we gotta do what we do. Never change a running system. Our success will be the success for next year. So we gotta keep trending on Twitter, talk about it. I mean, watching it, that's a no-brainer, I think.
Right.
And it's the entire picture that's gonna make it a success. Just watching it won't be enough. Just tweeting about it won't be enough. We gotta go all in.
Right.
Yeah, I think anyone that's tempted to pirate, the Snyder Cut, or to watch it, without having to pay a subscription to HBO Max, that is in no way, shape, or form helping,
that is not what we want to do.
Exactly.
Right.
So, yes, viewership, subscribers, gotta convince our family friends, sign up for HBO Max.
Right.
And yeah, just like Warren said, like, we gotta keep hammering away, be active on social media, be engaged, hashtag release a Snyder Cut. But yeah, work to be done.
It's a lot of work to be done. Gavin, I want to ask you, because I see you got your Marvel poster up there and all those superheroes everywhere. Where does this go with the DC? Do we get like everybody, or is it just always going to be depending on, do we stream a lot? Do we, are we always on thin ice, or what happens next,
Well, I mean, I think it really depends on how many viewers and like the ratings that the Snyder Cut may get, like from the fans, like not just the critics,
Right.
And if it if it is successful, if it's financially successful, then I think they could push forward with the story and then give it the bigger overall feel, similar to, like what the MCU has been doing.
Right.
And this way they can continue from Zach's original vision and kind of play off of what's going to go on there, as long as we keep being proactive in the movement and just kind of see how it goes from there. Because it's really up to AT&T.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think? Are we, because you remember like in 2016, it was still kind of, when BVS was coming out, everybody was still kind of like Marvel versus DC. Is that still going on? Do we still got to worry about that shit before this movie comes out, or do we still got to, like, Campia just all of a sudden disappear? Who do we got to worry about next? Who's the next Campia, or who's the next Collider? What are we up against? Because I really want to see this movie, but I'll be so pissed if something like Rotten Tomato comes out and be like, oh, this movie's full of shit, and then like everybody starts saying that like it did before with BVS. What do we do? What are we up against? Do we have to deal with Marvel guys? Do we have to deal with fake information? Do we have to deal with Rotten Tomatoes, or what? What's the future hold for this DC movement? Gavin.
I mean, I think that Rotten Tomatoes, people really just judge a movie before even seeing it just by seeing their reviews. And because I've seen a lot of tweets saying, oh, it got a bad review on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, there's no point watching it. But if you're really going to like base a viewing on a company, there's it shouldn't really be that way. And then there's that whole rumor about how Marvel pays off Rotten Tomatoes to get good reviews on every movie, because I don't think it's true that every single MCU movie is like A grade fantastic, you know.
Right.
And I think some of the DCEU movies were much better than some MCU movies, and I don't think it deserved the hate that it got just because of Rotten Tomatoes, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the perceived kind of battle between DC fans and Marvel fans, I think too often it's overblown in that it is possible to be a fan of both. It's possible to like Marvel movies, and it's possible to like DC movies as well. And, you know, and the fact that, you know, some people being a fan of Marvel movies feel inflated in terms of their ego because they somehow think, oh, well, because I'm a fan of these movies and they have done better financially than DC movies, I'm better, or I'm some better fan, which is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a very naive mentality that I think a lot of people buy into sometimes, you know, especially like on Twitter and stuff like that. But it's okay to like the movies that we like, you know, and it's okay to be a fan of Zack Snyder, like, and it's okay to like DC movies. And if you like DC movies and also Marvel movies, that's okay too, you know. I think the release of Snyder Cut movement has done really well to not engage in combative dialogue with people, but that we are here to represent the things that we like. If you don't like it, that's fine. We don't need to engage with you. You don't need to engage with us. You know, we'll enjoy what we like, and you guys enjoy what you like, you know?
Right.
And I think that kind of helps people to, you know, say, okay, well, maybe you guys are, you know, preaching the good gospel, you know, maybe there is something good that you guys are doing. So that's the way I kind of see it.
Right. What about you, Werner? Is there a competition, or is it all overblown?
I don't think there's gonna be a big competition when the Snyder Cut comes out, because the Marvel hype is a little bit gone since Endgame.
I agree.
Because for many people, whether it's fans or just people who watch it, the Marvel story has ended with Endgame. And when we watch what's gonna come next, I mean, there is Black Widow, and that's it. There is no Iron Man coming. There's no Avengers coming next year. There are no Guardians. The next Thor movie, I don't know. When is it coming? End of 21, 22? So there is, you can almost say, no Marvel to see, and no competition for the Snyder Cut, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. I love that answer, but check this out. In the world of competition, you know, Marvel set the bar with Endgame financially, right? Now we got a movie coming on streaming on HBO Max that we can't judge the, you know, the same theater numbers because it's going to be put out in a different way. But the competition is Endgame to the Snyder Cut. Are we going to see people, you know, just say, damn, the Snyder Cut was maybe a better movie. If it was out, it might have made it. Oh, did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what that shit was. It was like Cyborg or something just show up.
Oh.
So what's the like? Does Snyder just get a pass because it's on streaming, or is he still gunning for the top? You know, or what is it? Anybody can take that.
It's going to be judged differently. Whether or not it's judged fairly is a question, but it is going to be judged differently because there are no box office numbers to say, oh, this movie was successful because it made such and such amount of money. You know, those numbers are going to be taken away. You know, HBO, they might be able to release the streaming numbers and say, oh yeah, you know, 30 million people turned in on the opening, you know, night release of, you know, the Snyder Cut. You know, so I think viewership is maybe how they'll determine, you know, oh, this really attracted a lot of eyeballs. But yeah, no, it's just it's going to be judged very differently. So hopefully it's judged fairly.
Right, Gavin, what do you think? Oh, or Werner?
No. All right, go.
All right, Gavin, what do you think? How's the Snyder Cut going to be judged when it goes straight to streaming?
Well, I mean, the thing is, obviously, it's not going to be able to compete with box office numbers of Endgame because it's being streamed. But even then, if they count it by the streaming viewership, there could be multiple people using one account for HBO Max and sitting as a family watching the Snyder Cut, and they'll just count it as one singular
stream.
Yeah. So it's obviously not going to be fairly put up to the standards because it's not given the best chance that it should be able to be given. Right. So there's not really much that they can really do about that due to its streaming platform.
Do you think we'll ever see a theatrical run for the Snyder Cut?
Only in special theaters.
I think it's possible if it's released on HBO Max as a movie. I think it's very possible that it will get a theatrical, even like a weekend, like a lot of special movies in the US, they'll have a Fathom event, so the ticket's a little bit more expensive. It's in select theaters, it's only there for maybe 2 days, but something like that I think is possible if it's a movie. If it's a mini series, probably won't see it in theaters.
So, all right, I got 2 more questions. One of the questions, as a movement, where do we go from here as a movement? We've been talking about where does Zack Snyder go, but what do we do? Do we just keep pushing? Do we keep promoting, or what? Warner, you can start that.
Well, what's next for the movement? Well, I think we gotta keep talking about the Snyder Cut and share our excitement with everybody. That's the thing we can and should do now, because we can't wish for more. We get the cut. We can't wish for more. We now only can wait and enjoy the time we have together.
Right. What about you, Gavin?
I mean, I think if we do keep tweeting it, oh my God, what's tweeting?
Tweet.
And if we just keep the movement going and try to get it trending when there's at least some big news coming out about it, like we did on November 17th, then I think we could really push it and hopefully raise the viewership. And just as long as we keep going forward and don't just completely give up now that we know we're getting the Snyder Cut, as long as we keep providing for HBO Max and DC, then I think it could really help everyone out.
Hell yeah. Andre, what do you think, bro?
I agree. Yeah, everything that our guys said here. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think staying engaged on social media, continuing to prove and show Warner Brothers and HBO Max that there is a demand, even though we're, 6 to 12 months away from seeing the Snyder Cut, that our excitement level is still, at an 11, and
Hell
yeah. I think that's important. I also think, I honestly think, the release, the Iyer Cut movement that has started as well. I think if that's something that we want to see, I think that's also important to engage on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if it happens after Zack Snyder's Justice League, continuing to show Warner Brothers, hey, there was a vision and a direction that you had before Snyder stepped away.
Mm-hmm.
And that got lost. That got messed up. We want to see what the original vision and plan was. And so even if if at the end of the day, the only things that we ever get are Zack Snyder's Justice League and maybe even David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad, I still feel like we won.
Hell yeah.
Agreed.
So check this out. We're going to wrap it up because I've had y'all's time pretty much since 5 o'clock today. So check this out. I want all of y'all to give where we can reach, where the fans can reach you. I also want y'all to say something positive about the Snyder Cut account, because this is going up for their little roundtable deal. So everybody say something positive about the account and tell where y'all can be reached at. Gavin, you can start.
Well, I have been following this account on Twitter for a very long time, and they have obviously been hosting a bunch of these events like on November 17th, and I think it was really, really helpful because in all honesty, if it wasn't for them, I don't think that we would have gotten Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot to tweet all that. Like it's just really crazy, like what they basically did for all of us. And I mean, it's a good account. It's good stuff.
Hell yeah. Where can we reach you, Gavin? Where can we reach you?
You can reach me on Twitter at Mr. Skull 301. And then you can also reach me on Instagram at the Gavin Drayson.
Word. Werner. So I'm gonna let Green Lantern close it out. So Werner, you can jump in there. Werner, say something positive about the account and tell where we can all reach you at.
Well, positives, there are many things to tell about that. But I think the most important thing is that the account, Release the Snyder account, is the place where you can find people like you. That's where we're all together. That's the way to go if you want anything to know about the movement, if you want to know what's the current situation, what's the news from today, what event is coming. And this is the combined power of our fandom. This site, this place is the way to go, where it's never gonna end. I tell you, we're gonna have fun for the rest of our lives.
Hell yeah. Where can we find you at, Werner?
Well, you can find me here on Twitter at Werner Kissman. That's my real name. Real name, if you ask. So that's where you can find me.
All right, cool. All right, Andre, it's all on you, homie.
All right. Well, just what Gavin and Werner said, I appreciate having the opportunity to be on here, and I would not have met you guys or had the chance to be on here if it wasn't for the Release the Snyder Cut account and just being involved, and following that account. I think, there are a lot of hands, a lot of people involved in there, and the fact that it is for the most part been pretty smooth and very much together in terms of the goals of the group, I think it's awesome. And just like Gavin Werner said, what happened last year in November, the incredible day seeing Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck tweet out, Release the Snyder Cut, that would not have happened without this group. And so all the efforts of everybody that's, put this thing together, it's been incredible. So listeners, if you're not following, go follow that account. Go follow it. But,
perfectly said, man.
Yeah, and again, I appreciate it. It's been really fun getting to know you guys, just chatting with you guys. Finding people that are as passionate about Zack Snyder's movies is always fun. Always fun. My account on Twitter, so my name is Andre Hutchins. You can find me at AC_Hutchins. But I also run a movie blog and podcast called Backseat Directors. So if you just type in Backseat Directors, you'll find it as well.
Damn right. Well, I appreciate all of you guys coming on with me. They asked me to host this roundtable, and I was like, fuck it, hell yeah. And so I want to give a shout out to everybody on the account. I want to give a shout out to everybody that used to work in the account, all of that, because like y'all said, if it wasn't for the account, we probably wouldn't have had that Subway plug. We probably wouldn't have had a lot of different shit that we had in this movement. So we got to shout them out. Y'all could find me at on Twitter, Mr. West Ashley 843, or on YouTube, Mr. West Ashley 843. I got a podcast called Go Deep. Check that shit out. It's like a little conspiracy podcast, but it's good with Zack Snyder because he kind of goes deep, So that's about it. Guys, I appreciate Roundtable episode 10. I guess we're going to send this over to the account. They're going to edit it up and put it out soon.
Awesome to have you.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure. Nice meeting all of you.
Damn right.
Hope to hear you again, guys.
Yes, sir. I'll keep that room open. So if y'all ever want to chat, y'all want to holler at me or whatever, we can talk.
That sounds great, man.
All right. Word.
Awesome, guys.
Peace, y'all.
Can I say that, Andre, your voice sounds just like Jared Leto's voice?
That's a fucking movie star, dog. He got everything, dog. Like, what?
Oh, man. Well, so do I have to pick now? I either got to be Green Lantern or Joker now, I guess.
Yeah, you do. You can only be one.
Gavin, thanks, man. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. It's been really fun. Thanks, guys.
Hell yeah. Peace, y'all.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Have a good time.